Master the game and fear will fade away. How many players can actually stay in your defensive line? Good question. When attacking, you can bring as many players forward as you want, but it's a different story when defending. While attacking, you can even flood the opponent's penalty box with almost your entire team, especially during set pieces. This happens because there are so many offensive playstyles, attacking fullbacks for defenders, hole players for midfielders, and roaming flankers for wide players. Plus, additional team instructions allow some defenders to push up and join the attack. Also, the maximum number of players allowed in the attacking zone is bigger than in the defensive zone. But have you ever really thought about it? How many players can you actually have in your defensive line at one time? Let's break it down. Normally, the maximum number of defenders you can set is 5. 3 center backs and 2 fullbacks. When you set 5 defenders, the defensive line support feature for midfielders gets automatically disabled. It will only be available for attackers like CF, SS, LWF, and RWF. Why? Because that's a system limitation. So how do we get more players into the defensive line? Is it even possible to exceed that limit? The answer is yes, it is possible. There are 2 methods you can use to outnumber your opponent in defense. First method, using defensive line support. Set only 4 defenders in your formation. Then, assign 2 of your midfielders with defensive line support instructions. However, this doesn't always work the way you might expect. Often, even with 4 defenders and 2 midfielders set to drop back, you'll still see only 5 players at the back. Why? Because the 2 midfielders usually rotate to fill a single slot rather than coming back together at once. It's extremely rare to see a true 6-man defensive line form this way. Second method, using individual marking instructions. Not to be confused with tight marking, okay? Individual marking is when you assign a specific player to shadow a specific opponent. Tight marking allows any player to pick up the assigned target, so the marker can change during the match. We'll use individual marking here. Set 4 defenders normally. Then, assign 1 midfielder to drop back with defensive line support, and assign individual marking to another midfielder, marking one of the opponent's attackers. With this setup, you'll usually find 6 players defending your box. Or, you could even go bigger. Set 5 defenders, plus assign 2 midfielders to individual marking. This way, you can have up to 7 players in your defensive area at the same time. So, what do you think? Are you ready to give it a try? Do you enjoy playing pragmatic defensive styles like parking the bus, parking a helicopter, or maybe parking UFO? Or maybe you have your own creative ways to cram more players into your defensive third? Drop your ideas in the comments.